Good evening, welcome here for a night of Dota 2, and this time when I say it, I don't actually mean only one game, I mean 4 games. We're gonna see 4 games for the excellent Moscow Cup. Starting off with 3 games, yeah, 3 games of RoX.KIS playing. They will be playing up against Power Rangers, Aware, and Next.KZ. And then our last match of the night is Meteor Makers taking on Empire. That should be a really good match as well. But the first one, definitely also one that I was really looking forward to. RoX.KIS versus Power Rangers. Excellent Moscow Cup. It's a best of one. And of course, we're still in the round-robin group stages, and I believe both of these teams still have a chance to make it to the playoffs. Of course, I am not by myself for this tournament, for these games, for all 4 games, actually. I'm joined once again by G-Advance. Welcome back.
Yep, good to be here. Good to have finally more than just one game in a night.
Yes.
I hate, I really just don't like that, as a thing. I really like to turn up and be like, okay, we've got, 3 or 4 games. You can just, thrash them all out, and by the end of it, it's really exciting because by the end of it you're hoarse and stuff, but you're really into it at that point. So glad to see we have a ton of games, and glad to see RoX.KIS are finally playing all their games, because currently they're 4-1 in the tournament. They're looking like one of the teams that you'd expect to maybe get to the finals, but they have a lot to go through to get to that.
5 seconds.
Yeah, I fully agree. So for as you mentioned, 5 games played in total for RoX.KIS. Teams need to play 10 matches in total, and just to give a bit of insight there. Power Rangers, they've played 6 games, so also still have to play 4 of their games. They have lost 2 of their games. Now, that's not a gigantic amount. However, if you want to make it to the top 4, which is where you want to be, if you want to make it to the LAN finals, which are LAN finals in Moscow, $25,000, yeah, that's something you want to witness. So you don't really want to lose 3 games in total, because then it's no longer up to you if you make it to the top 4. Then it's normally up to the other teams to be doing well rather than the other teams doing bad. So, yeah, they want to hold their destiny in their own hand. They want to win. It's not an easy opponent, though, because we've seen RoX.KIS do very well in the last couple of days. And I think that especially the whole new patch thing has helped them out a bit as well, so that they can get their new strategies in, can really show their strength in terms of going for the more unconventional picks here.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's true. That's something I feel like we find it a lot with these sort of Eastern European teams, is that they very much enjoy best of one games. They very much enjoy new patches, picking up interesting strategies. Obviously, for the moment, it seems fairly tame picking up just a Mirana, but PR, on the other hand, they pick up Bane and Sand King here. Not a typical support combo, but the nice thing about this is that Bane, he can be very, he can be ultra sacrificial. He can just be one of those heroes that we used to see it quite commonly, where he would just go mid and just screw over the enemy's mid, constantly put Enfeeble on top of them. He can do it in the off lane as well. He can just, look to a lane and go, okay, I'm going to make this lane really hard for the enemy team. Sand King, on the other hand, he can just go off and jungle and just be very greedy, because until you have sort of at least level 3 Burrow Strike, that range really does limit you, and the hero is not very good at ganking. Although they do have Nightmare as a good setup.
They do. Yeah, I do like that combination. Lately, I've been liking Sand King more if he indeed gets the time to be left alone and to be either stacking the jungle so he can sandstorm the creeps to death and get a very fast Blink Dagger up, or just be able to be greedy somewhere else. Purely because when he has that Blink Dagger up, if it's early on, there's not a whole lot RoX.KIS can do against that, at least not for now. They don't really have that much teamfight potential as of yet. I mean, obviously, they've only selected 2 heroes, so there's all the time in the world to really go for that one. But they so far have Shadow Demon Mirana, a combination that we see more often, of course, as well. Arrow after the disruption might not be as reliable as Bane, but it definitely is also a good hero against the Bane, the Shadow Demon, that is. Because if someone gets Fiend Script, boom, disruption either on Bane himself or on the target that's getting Fiend Script, and you're safe from that as well. So I do like that combination for RoX.KIS so far. I kind of dislike the Centaur being removed, because we've seen Centaur so much, and he is really a playmaker. But the one thing that I'm mostly surprised about here is that Ember is still in the pool and nobody has bothered to ban him out or pick him up.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Shadow Demon Mirana, probably a little bit less reliable than the Bane combo, but also can do more damage, and Shadow Demon as well, arguably that a little bit better right now. Some teams seem to be really favouring him. Oddly enough, it's not Power Rangers. We were talking about this before. Power Rangers were the team that straight up just went, oh, Shadow Demons is the top ban support now, and they were banning it first. for several. They were like, I swear they were doing it for like a week or something, even before 6.81. But yeah, anyway, like you said, Ember just being ignored here, and the big problem with Ember now is that if you go max your Sleight of Fist and get at least 3, normally 4 points now of the bowlers, your Sleight of Fist doesn't even do that much damage now because the damage got nerfed on it. You're even more item reliant than you were before. It was already the more item reliant build. The other problem is if you try to go Flame Guard, you pretty much need max Flame Guard just because otherwise it doesn't block enough damage for it to be effective DPS, and of course once it absorbs all that damage it will go away, so it can be easily dealt with. As well as that hero just needs an absolute ton of levels now. Probably one of the most level greedy heroes in the game, because you absolutely need to max out at least 2 of your spells plus your ulti, and then you probably need at least 1 point in your 3rd spell as well. So that hero is so greedy as far as XP is concerned right now that it seems teams just don't want to run him. And the thing is as well is that he's not an easy hero to play. He's very high skill cap. It's very easy to put yourself in a bad position, screw up even slightly, and you just instantly die. So that's why that hero just... Some teams are just not going to want to play him right now because he's just too unstable, and some players just haven't practiced enough. That's a straight up fact. Maybe people who've played the hero an absolute ton, like Arteezy would like to, probably still, but these players, nobody here other than, I think Solo's played a fair amount of it, and possibly Scandal as well, but they haven't practiced it a huge amount. They haven't thrashed out 300 games on the hero.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm a bit surprised by Power Rangers' Nyx Assassin pickup. When the Doom got picked up, it's like, fair enough. It's a nice hero to have. Can be going off lane or in the jungle. Looks like, however, they want to run him on the safe lane and the Nyx Assassin off lane. Remaining. But I find that it's not your typical Power Rangers lineup. It's not very aggressive. I was expecting them to get a lot more aggressive heroes than they have right now. On top of that, we have RoX.KIS with and aggressive heroes. You've got the combination Shadow Demon Mirana that we already talked about. Leshrac works out very well with the Shadow Demon as well, so you got early game roaming potential if need be. And you've got a lot of pushing potential in that Leshrac. Just one hero, and that Edict can burst through towers faster than you can say Diabolic Edict. So I'm a bit worried for Power Rangers at this moment, purely in regards to the draft. I find Nyx Assassin, he is an okay offlaner, but he's too obvious of an offlaner, meaning that once he reaches level 6 and he's not on the lane, everybody knows that he'd be ganking. So it's not really ideal. And on top of that, there's 2 supports that can do well early on, meaning they can get gold early on, meaning that they can get those sentry wards up early on, and that when Nyx Assassin reaches level 6, he might not be able to even do anything with his Vendetta, even if RoX.KIS would not be expecting it. So that is, I think, a bit troublesome for them. So far, though, RoX.KIS seemed to be kind of in the dark as well about what they could do with the draft. Oh, I was gonna say, like, they're running out of time. Only 1 second left in their bonus time. They get a mid that has and the push potential and the solid carry potential in a way, and a solid mid potential in terms of he's not going to lose the lane. I am starting to get more and more worried for Power Rangers at this point.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from here. The thing is that RoX.KIS's lineup, do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those old TI2 lineups, where, Shadow Demon Leshrac, that's like the most TI2 support combo ever.
It was either Lina or Leshrac every time.
Yeah, it was either Lina or Leshrac every single time, because those stuns are very, very good, even from level 1 as far as duration is concerned, because they're all 2 seconds, right? I think Lina's is 1.6. I don't know. That hero doesn't get played because it's terrible now. But
Aw, extra range.
Yeah, I know. Now she's Sniper, so that's nice for her. But yeah, the Shadow Demon Leshrac combo, you can use it with the Mirana, you can use it with the Dragonite. Pretty much, if you sign someone solo anywhere, if you execute it well, there's essentially nothing the enemy team can do about it. And the thing for me is that RoX.KIS, if they get ganked, they actually have a very good way of dealing with it, because they have that Shadow Demon who can be behind there, he can disrupt people. So I agree with you. I think this Nyx Assassin pick is very troublesome. The thing is who is he going to go on this game? He can't go on a Dragon Knight, because obviously Dragon Knight is tanky. He's difficult to kill. He's a goddamn knight. He wears a full suit of armor. It's not easy to kill him. Mirana has a natural escape that's very, very quick to cast, so pretty much she presses E and she's out of there. So unless Nyx Assassin opens with his stun, at which point he's lower on his damage, so it's going to be hard to kill
5
her off.
seconds
You can't
remaining.
kill the Shadow Demon because, again, he can just disrupt himself. And the Shadow Demon and the Leshrac are going to be together all the time.
Radiant
That
team
said,
pick.
I'm kind of more confident in Power Rangers now, because the problem they were having is that they looked weak in the laning stage. If there's a way of winning the laning stage, it's picking Skywrath Mage, because he's crazy in the lane. And is this a mid? I think this is a mid
I
Skywrath
think
Mage.
this is a mid Skywrath Mage. Yeah.
Unless
they want to
thank
go,
the Lord, this hero is so cool.
Unless they want to go aggressive trialing with that one, but you know, this is a do it or die hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Either Power Rangers
I mean, it's a
is
do
gonna
it and
flop,
die hero. That hero dies a lot,
5
very easily.
seconds remaining.
Well, either their lineup is gonna flop or it's gonna be amazing, but if they get behind in the laning stage, things are gonna go bad for them real fast. So I'm still kind of worried. However, a bit more excited as well because with all this pressure on them, means that they really have to do well. Means that they are gonna be aggressive, and that's always fun to watch because that's one of the reasons why
Prepare for battle.
Power Rangers is normally one of those teams that, regardless if they win or lose, they normally make sure that the game is entertaining. And I think that with that Skywrath Mage pickup, who by the way is blind. Why would he wear a helmet that he can't see with? What's that about?
He's magical. He sees with magic. It's
Well,
fine.
I guess he only sees the
fine.
floor beneath
Look,
him.
he's not hit anything yet. It's totally cool. He
Yeah.
obviously knows where he's going. He's got echolocation. I know he doesn't look like it, but he's actually a bat.
Must be. We've got
He's
RoX.KIS,
totally a bat.
they also know where they're going. They are actually all 5. Are they gonna hide
They
behind?
look a bit scared, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I was gonna say.
I wouldn't be surprised as well, either, because if this fight lasts a few seconds for them, Skywrath Mage does ridiculous damage level 1 with just Arcane Bolt, but it looks like it's just too dangerous to run right into the enemy
30
jungle right now, and
seconds to
yeah,
go.
they're just going to back off.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at who is playing what, so we can also get a bit of a better grasp for lanes, though I think it will be quite straightforward, apart from the magical Sand King, who is going to be played by Scandal in mid lane. I am liking this lineup more and more and more. So, Sand King solo mid, we've seen this before. It can work out brilliantly or it can flop once again. But saying that, he's up against a Dragonite. I think he'll do okay. I think he'll do just fine, especially if he's going to spec a level in Caustic Finale. We've got Cheshire Cat. He's playing the Nyx Assassin on the bottom lane. No surprise there, so he's going to be on the Suicide lane. Should be leveling okay-ish, but other than that, can't really expect too much from him. We've got J4 playing the Skywrath Mage. Right now, looks like he's just going to scout out the rune, sees that its regen, might destroy it or pick it up. Whichever, not going to matter all that much. And then on the top lane, we've got Moon. He'll be going into the jungle by the looks of things, or at least pick up a creep and then rotating to the lane, most likely, as they have been doing that quite a few times. FNG will play his Bane, and we'll be enjoying the first couple of levels there. And it looks like we're going to have a dual lane mid. Even more exciting. So I'll leave RoX.KIS to you. Cause,
Yeah, this is smartly played by RoX.KIS here, because the natural thing for them is to put the DK mid, but they expect the Scandal mid. So DK, he's going to be on the bottom lane here, played by Solo. He's backed up by Goblak. He's going to be on the Leshrac in the bottom lane. In the middle lane, it is going to be BZZ, playing under the name 633. Is going to be on the Mirana, supported by Yol. He's on the Shadow Demon. And on the off lane is, of course, on his own here, Seedoy. He should do pretty well for levels here, because these heroes, not great for zoning anybody out. And even Doom, with his pretty good damage, if he locks the Clockwork in with him, he's probably going to lose that one once their Clockwork's got up levels of Battery Assault. So I like this laning stage from RoX.KIS here. They predicted that this Sand King was going to go mid. We certainly didn't. I thought he was going to be a support and the Skywrath would go mid.
Yep.
Either way, moving their DK out of that lane and instead putting a dual lane with the Mirana here is a very sensible option, because DK struggles very much versus Sand King. Of course, if you're in mid, you can afford to get levels of Caustic Finale, which we never see on Sand King normally. But if you're a farming hero, it is good. But versus a DK, you don't want to be that DK, because Caustic Finale hurts any melee hero in the mid lane.
Yeah.
And, you know, the same goes for Mirana Shadow Demon as well. So this is smart laning from both teams here, but it seems like PR is slightly on the back foot, because they're forced to try and farm on this Sand King, who is not a good hero as far as trying to get last hits in the lane. I mean,
Well, neither is Mirana, apparently. She's slightly
well,
biased
she's got
to-
terrible base damage, but at
Yes.
the very least, she's a better overall laner.
Well, she gets some of the knights off there. I have to say, I like that Scandal is having 1 point still left to spend the whole time. Because he knows he
He's
needs to
really
have his burst
thinking
strike at
about
level
what he
2.
wants.
Yeah, because at some point, if he... Oh, wait a second, top lane. Cedo is actually going to go down here, but it's first blood right there. I really felt he shouldn't go down. He popped his cogs, like, on the side. And I guess once his cogs were gone, Power Rangers knew that they were going to be able to go up on him, so nice kill for them. And yeah, I agree, they were slightly behind, but with that first blood, it's a chance for them to come back. We can slightly compare the Doom to the Dragonite though, and Doom is actually behind there by quite a bit. However, he gets solid extra farm with his Devour, something that of course Dragonite cannot copy. Even though I'm worried, I mean, I like Dragonite, don't get me wrong. He is normally, once he gets level 6, he's a fairly active carry, but this looks like he wants to go for a Midas. And
he could definitely go for a Midas.
I'm not that big of
the
a
thing
fan
is
of
that
Midas.
if you can... I kind of agree, but the thing is, if you farm it fast enough, you can still fight with it, because if everybody in the game is fighting, which... Let's be honest, we've seen that a lot in this tournament, because these are CIS teams.
Disruption coming out first. It's just slowing the Senki down. Nice arrow, actually. Still hits him on the Bane, but he still gets a nightmare of double burrow strike from Scandal as well. And yo, a lot of trouble for him. He gets a bottle charge, might be able to survive, and it's actually J4 that gets harassed most for Power Rangers. Get forced back, so he couldn't throw out another concussive shot. Concussive shot. He didn't pick up concussive shot. The other one. Arcane
No,
Bolt.
it's Arcane Bolts.
I was gonna say, like, okay, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, concussive shot's the slow. Arcane Bolt's the spammy fake right click. Is basically what it is. Because Skyrath Maid does not right click people. He just throws Arcane Bolts at them. But yeah, I mean, a nice attempt at getting the first blood here. But the fact is that these heroes, Bane is not a good hero for getting early first bloods unless somebody on your team does mass damage. And at this point, Sand King, of course, only level 2 Burrow Strike, not great damage. He did manage to get the double sun, but J4 as well, not able to do a huge amount of damage, and in the end, it's just very hard to actually kill those two, and Yol at the time actually had their bottle on them. When you are dual laning mid, you swap the bottle between the support and the carry very often, and at the time, Yol had the bottle, and he survived because of that.
There's a rotation from J4, and it looks like it's gonna pay off. It's just a couple of hits needed. Where is that other Arcane Bolt? He needs the vision, doesn't get the vision. Now the vision is there. Arcane Bolt's flying. It is not gonna be enough though, but actually it is in the end, so my bad for calculating that wrong. Doesn't matter. Kill is a kill. Skywrath Mage. First rotation, successful one. It's 2-0 in favor of Power Rangers. If it's enough to hold them in the game, because at some point RoX.KIS will have the way better lineup in terms of just heroes and pure damage they can pump out. I'm not sure if it is enough, but they're making an effort, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely for PR, it's very reliant on them doing well early in the game, or mid lane. They
Yeah,
tried to go on
nightmare.
Scandal, but they haven't got the opportunity.
Arrow will miss. There will be a Burrow Strike up on 2. In comes the Concussive Shot this time, and the Arcane Bolt to pick up the kill with Sand King, actually. Scandal getting the credit for the kill. He went for Sandstorm level 2, by the way. So no Caustic Finale build for him, but... well, the way things are going, it's not really needed. He is keeping up with the Mirana in terms of last hits. He is fairly even with last hits with her. And that's all he wants for the moment, so it's not bad at all. We have got another rotation. FNG is actually going back towards the top lane. I'm not sure if they can take down Seedoy though, but Seedoy is very
He's a
low
hard
mana.
kill.
He is a hard kill.
He is a
though.
hard kill. But we saw him get killed earlier off by these two heroes, and well, the Doom has got his Doom now, so if they get him in the right place, they'll be able to, but Seedoy has just backed off. He's picked up level 6 already. He's managed to pick up a Chainmail, because, you know, 1v1 versus a Doom is a pretty easy lane for him, so he's managed to pick up a fair amount of farm in the meantime. I think he'll just go and gank from this point onwards. There's not great heroes to gank, though. His only major target is either Bane or the Skywrath Mage, because he can't really kill the Doom. He's simply not high enough level. He does have 3 levels in Battery Assault, so with a bit of help he might be able to. But Scandal, of course, he'll be able to Burrow Strike out of there. That'll be easy for him. And Cheshire Cat, as well as that, can just invis with the Vendetta. So not a huge number of targets that he can go and kill for. And for the moment, it looks like RoX.KIS are, you know, much happier just sitting back, and that's because, as you said, their lineup just sort of does a bit better late. Yes, they don't have the Doom, who is an incredibly fast farming hero, but we've seen it time and time again. This hero is not a good carry, no matter how much farm he gets, and nice deny there from J4.
You shall not have
denying
that 50
the enemy
gold.
ward.
50 gold is a lot to give away. It's a nice night, to be honest. I'm kind of... oh, hello, Seedoy. Are you level 6? Are you
He is
looking for a
level
hook
6.
shot,
He's
buddy?
gotten a lot of levels in last hits on this offlaner, and that's because Bane was off doing other things, but who's he going to kill here? I mean, he's not going to kill the Sand King by any stretch.
No, Sand King just picked up a haste rune. He's going bottom. He's going for solo here. Goblek is close by though, but an Impale coming out as well. Epicenter. Why not? That's going to be one Dragonite down, and Goblek not able to make anything happen off the back of it. Vendetta instantly used by Cat. Want to try and chase down Goblek. Can he make it happen? I think he can. Burrow Strike, and that's going to be another kill. 2 kills here on this bottom lane, 1 for each. In comes Mirana, and Arrow will still handle Cat, but he gets a Spike Carapace off. Hookshot coming in still, and Starstorm. Cat will get picked up there. Clockwork gets the gold, but at the same time Scandal already made his way out of here, and he is fine. He's
oh, and now mid lane. Oh no, nothing actually happens in the end in mid lane, but it looked like Moon was coming in to try and gank as well. That everybody is just going crazy for the attempts for kills right now, and yeah, that's definitely it, because all of their heroes cap out during the mid game. The Doom, his only real job is to make sure that his team are doing well in the fights and doom somebody on the side of RoX.KIS, probably the Mirana or the DK, just to stop their damage output a little bit and, you know, give them less that they can do. Otherwise, he's not there to do huge amounts of damage. They rely on their spells to do that. Their right-click potential going late is just basically pants.
Pants?
Yeah. That's not a term? That's a term?
Nope. Something that is basically pants?
Yeah, that's a term.
Why?
Pants as in, like, useless.
Pants are not useless. I find pants very handy at times. We have a smoke up for Cat and FNG. They're gonna find Goblek. Vendetta used, that's gonna be an Impale as well, and really, yeah, there's no way to get out from under that one, so. And the smoke is actually not yet proc for FNG, so maybe he wants to make something happen with that.
He has grip
does
up as
have
well.
Fiend's Grip, yeah, exactly.
The levels on the heroes here are doing pretty well overall. The only one who's a little bit low for PR is J4, and he's, you know, he doesn't seem to need a huge amount, because right now he's playing a Scarif support, and he's doing something that I love as far as skill build, is he's focused on Ancient Seal. Ancient Steel arguably scales a lot better if you're just there to try and help your team do damage. It's similar to how Shadow Demons, if you're trying to do damage yourself, you get more in Shadow Poison. If you're trying to help your team do more damage, you get Soul Catcher, because it increases the amount, it decreases the enemy magic resistance when you use it on them, as well as silencing them. So I think this is a smart skill pickup for him. It also means he's going to use up a lot less mana, because you're not spamming out hundreds of Arcane Bolts every second.
No. Smoke up for 4. J4 is going to be the first one to get scouted out. Lightning flying as well. He actually gets hit by the arrow still, so I don't think he's going to make it out alive. But it does buy some time. There's an Impale coming out on Mirana. Disruption actually saving the Clockwork there for a moment. Cat should be able to get out. Burrow Strike coming in from the side. That Scandal goes into Sandstorm. Not able to get the kill on the Mirana. Close though. Not close enough. He will be hit by an arrow as well. There comes a hook shot. That's going to be the second kill going the way of RoX.KIS. And FNG not going to be running away from this one. Has got another Brain Sap. Will be able to use it, but gets cogged in and Starstormed to death. Goblek looking for something. Gets silent up though. And in comes another Impale. Not going to get the kill, but at least it slows them down from chasing them. A very weird fight for Power Rangers, to be honest. Walking back and forth, not really committing. But RoX.KIS, they played it perfectly. Not overextending and not using their spells too early. Arrow, woohoo, that one's close.
Almost walked into that one then. That could have been very bad there.
Yep. Might still be a tower though, as the J4 is actually
looks like they're trying to go for this again though.
Nice split earth though coming out from Goblek. They're still able to hold, or at least to do quite a bit of damage to Yule, but I don't think it's enough. FNG goes for a Brain Sap. No, not enough. One hit was needed for him to get that kill. No tower taken. No arrow. Nope. Moon is fine. Never mind. That's no towers taken. Still 2 kills going the way of RoX.KIS, which is good for them because they were kind of behind on those. But with a 4-man rotation and a fight that lasted that long, I find it in favor of Power Rangers that they didn't lose more. Was good
yeah, PR played a good defensive game in that, but so did RoX.KIS. I think both teams there was a lot of small outplays, but the real problem is that neither team has any major sustained damage output at this stage of the game. The Mirana, of course, she's notorious until she's got a couple of items up. She's basically just a spell hero. And DK, he wasn't there for that fight, neither was the Doom. Nobody was able to actually secure very much then. And the only real reason that a couple people died on PR is that initially they were the ones that got initiated on from the side, and J4 was just, you know, in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was nothing that he could have done from that place, so yeah, I think overall, it's not bad for either team, but I'm very interested in what Solo's going to get and what impact he can get in this game, because he's got this early Hand of Midas up. He's going to try and get this mid tower, which is just out of deny range here. He needs a bit of help, and everybody is focusing on this right now. Just look at everybody swarm into the middle lane. This is like, this is true CIS Dota, where everybody's like, all right, guys, now we need to fight. It's 6 minutes in.
And
right,
it's
only
not just
12
RoX.KIS,
minutes in,
it's Power Rangers as well. They're ready for this one. Silence already up on Yule. Fiend's Grip in the meantime up on Cedoy. Impale hits up on the Mirana. In comes a Mystic Flare. It helps a lot. Helps a ton. Disruption coming out still on the Mirana. This defensive disruption that was, and it's going to be enough for that. Shadow Demon goes down as well as Clockwork, but those were the only two to drop next to the tower that you mentioned was already very low.
Solo's
Wow.
back.
Breathe Fire, Scandal in too deep, and he'll go down. That was a bit too over-aggressive from him. Now Moon. I sure can't. Yeah, I was gonna say they shouldn't go in here, but they'll be okay. It turns into a 2 on 1. Regardless, though, 2 dead for RoX.KIS and only 1 for Power Rangers. Yeah, they lost their tower. Dragonite actually got the credit for that one, but I wouldn't put it in favor of RoX.KIS for sure. However, there's a big however, because we already mentioned RoX.KIS has got the fairly better late game, so maybe in a way it is Power Rangers that lost here, because they should be winning these fights at this point in the game.
Yeah, they were winning that fight fairly well at the beginning when they managed to lock 2 people out. That's the great thing about their lineup. With the Bane and the Doom, you essentially turn 2 heroes completely off out of that fight. You Doom 1, which in this case was Solo, because right now he's probably the biggest threat, because he's virtually invincible to the side of PR. They just don't have the damage to kill him. Even with things like Mystic Flare, which do an absolute ton, he's incredibly hard to kill. So they Doom him, they Fiend's Grip another, and at that point, it's a sort of 4 on 3, because 2 people are out from the side of RoX.KIS. Obviously, Bane takes himself out of the fight by using Fiend's Grip, but he also takes somebody else out, and Bane's sustained damage output is very low anyway, so it's totally okay to do that. They get the tower in the end, and yeah, I agree. If PR aren't getting, completely crushing at this point, or if they haven't come up with a way of really just smashing down the enemy towers, taking a lot of map control, then things are in favor of RoX.KIS, because Solo, he's now got a Bracer, Treads, and an Ogre Club, so he's got a ton of strength items here, plus 27 strength in addition to his normal strength. Maxed out Dragon's Blood as well. He's virtually invincible. He's very hard to kill at this point. He's going to get it for full BKB soon. At that point, how do you actually kill him? I don't think they can.
Nope. And they actually opted to go for no Edict points whatsoever on the Leshrac. I don't think it's needed either, because they already have so much more pushing power than Power Rangers has, just by purely having a Dragonite there. In comes some teleports. They want to try maybe defend this tower, but they're going to be too late. I think that RoX.KIS will be backing off, and if they don't, it's going to be a fake back.
Yeah, it seems like RoX.KIS, they're fairly happy with going this, because DK's got his Dragon form up.
That's going to be FNG already dead. And that's going to mean that Power Rangers is only on the defensive side for now. They cannot fight without that Fiend's Grip, basically. They need to have the
there's no way
grip.
they can fight without the Fiend's Grip, unless they manage to get, the absolute perfect fight for them. But right now, RoX.KIS are very spread out. They're letting the damage spread out over BZZ as well as Solo here, because the fact is Solo could take it. Solo really can take it at this point. He's, built up the Mithril Hammer to his BKB now. He's got 1500 HP.
God,
I mean,
J4.
compare that to everybody else.
J4 just got hit by the
J4.
arrow. And it was so
He's
obvious
too far
that it was
back for
coming
them
in
to
as
get
well.
him, but he's too far back for them to get it. But even so, it's just like small things like that. Yeah, it lowers your confidence in games. And it makes it like, a little bit harder. But I'm just very worried for PR right now, because Solo, I mean, you're not a big fan of this early Hand of Midas on him. I think it's great, because the thing is everybody's fighting a fair amount in this game. If everybody's fighting pretty much constantly evenly, and you have a Hand of Midas, if you can keep up in the fights, if you can do just as well as everybody else, and have your Hand of Midas and use it, you're going to get way ahead of everybody else in farm, because the fact is nobody else is getting a huge amount of farm right now. I mean, the top last hits is Solo, and that's only 94, so that's not a huge amount considering we're 60 minutes into the game. You can get that by about 10 minutes if you farm fast enough. So this is not a huge farm game, and he's been relatively involved with this team. He's not getting much in the way of kills or assists, but he's the one taking out the towers for his team. He's the one in the front line. And he's absorbed a lot of damage for his team as well. Every single time the Doom's been used, which so far has only been once, it's been on him. And he has to be the Doom target, because otherwise what have they got to stop him? They can Fiend's Grip, but RoX.KIS will just throw their bodies at him to actually get him out of that Fiend's grip right now, and I'm getting pretty worried for PR because I don't think they can stop this push at this point. Solo is just invincible.
Well, they don't think they can stop the push either. They just let the tier 1 tower drop. They do now have the
What's
blink
their
daggers
plan if
on
they
Sand
don't
King,
stop
though.
the push?
Sand King.
What's their plan?
Sand King.
That is a good one, because the thing with Sand King as well is that it is good versus BKBs, because you can blink in, you can Burrow Strike, and it's an instant cast point stun. He'll have to Epicenter first to have the damage to do anything about it, but he's highly leveled because he went into the solo mid. So that has to be their plan, but it has to be executed well, and that is not easy.
Oh, Nyx Assassin. His Vendetta's gonna run out. He is in trouble. Disruption could be the end for him. Moonlight Shadow being popped. They're looking for Shurkat. He has got a force
He does
staff.
have a force staff still.
Arrow. Oh, misses. There. Yeah,
He
he's
might
not
just
gonna
give
make it
up.
out of this one alive. Everybody is close by. That's gonna be one dead bug. And that means that for now, Power Rangers is back to being with the 4 of them. And again, they cannot fight with the 4 of them. They basically have to win their next fight with all their might. Like they have to at least hold their own in the next fight, and for that they need to have the best possible situation they can hope for.
The best
and they
possible
need the Nyx
Scandal is
Assassin
sitting
for that.
around at the back in the trees though. So
Yeah, but an
this
arrow
is what
already
they're
flying
looking
for
for.
him, and it
Oh,
hits him as
nicely
well.
played.
Doom going off on Solo, won't be having the damage to take it down though. Moon, you do not have the damage, you have to back off. He knows that too. Still gets a lightning, slowed down slightly, but we'll be making it out. Bane is already picked off, by the way. At the same time, Clockwork was able to snipe him again at the side where he was holding. So again, no Fiend's grip. Now the Nyx is back, but still no Fiend's grip. That's trouble. Still no 5-man lineup. An arrow flying in. Not gonna hit this time. Solo is taking a bit of a rest, but he does have his BKB. However, Epicenter being used here up on BCZ. The kill goes their way. Now Solo turns on his BKB. Kills off the Skywrath. Looks for another target. Forced back again in FNG. Why are you there? Brain Steps might be enough. Fiend's grip as well. He's stuck in the cogs. That might be their salvation. Disruption still coming out. It's a defensive one, offering some time for FNG to walk away. That's still gonna get Scandal killed though. Solo just gets a brief fire on him as Yol gets picked off by Moon at the back end of the fight. There's 2 heroes left alive for RoX.KIS. Make that 1. It is only Godlike that's running for his life. Nightmare might still come out from FNG if they
All the
want to.
body
There he
blocks from
goes.
Cheshire Cat.
That's not going to be his Leshrac that's going to be alive for very much longer. That can be an Impale as well. Mana Burn is still there. Impale will go out and a Brain Sap. That's enough for the kill. Triple kill for Moon. They might have lost their Scandal Sand King, but that Shadow, or Doom rather, definitely made that fight go their way again.
Yeah, absolutely. And they perfectly did that fight there. They wasted a lot of time and a lot of health on that DK. They managed to, I mean, the first thing they did, before the fight had even happened, before they actually initiated, they popped off Doom on the DK and the Ancient Seal as well, and that increased the damage he took. Seedoy, though, caught well out of position here. He was in there way too early.
Yeah, but that
did a
blade
lot to
mail,
J4, though.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
that blade mail was
Jesus.
scary. That is very scary.
Better start buying braces, man.
Yep.
Because
More
that
braces
blade mail
needed.
really does turn it around on him, yeah. But the great thing for them in that fight was definitely the Mystic Flare, because it allowed them to put a lot of damage onto the DK. He basically lost half of his health before the fight even started, before he had his BKB as well. And then, when RoX.KIS came back, they had a lot less health on their DK. That's when PR decided to initiate. The Sand King went on somebody else, and they just locked down the DK for a while. Again, throwing either the Fiend's Grip or the Doom on the DK, just trying to take him out of the fight for as long as possible.
Shurkat just got hit by an arrow, a long-range arrow. Doesn't look
They
like
must
they have
know he's
detection,
there.
though. Yeah, they pinged
They
it
must
out.
know he's there, but they don't have the detection on these two, and the others are too far behind. If the arrow hits, it's pretty obvious, because the animation for if it hits something is like, it basically just disappears, whereas if it runs out, there's like a kind of sparkly thing around the front. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but that's basically it. There's a sparkly
Oh,
bit.
Fiend's Grip, the BKB
Oh,
turned on
Doom
before
on a
the
creep.
Fiend's Grip still. Arrow flying out to FNG, no more Fiend's Grip for now, and Solo, he's just gonna continue turn around, trying to do some massive damage there. Skywrath Mage is already picked up, he's getting the Bane as well, that's a double kill for him. Looking for more. Moon was able to get 2 supports on the back end, but was not able to get more. Nice Impale coming out, but Seedoy and BCZ still going for Moon. That should be a dead Doom. The Nyx Assassin, last one alive for Power Rangers, dodges an arrow, but we'll see his tower fall, and we'll see RoX.KIS walking away with their lives, or at least the lives on their 3 cores. Their 2 supports died, but the ones that mattered, oi oi oi, dead. Life, I
Doom to
mean.
creep. That's a real problem. They
Doom to
needed that
creep.
Doom
Oh,
in that fight.
That's
Yeah, he blitzed out at it. That's Poor guy.
Oh, I didn't know that was
Dooming a creep.
I know that he doomed
Yeah,
a creep,
he
but I
doomed
didn't...
a creep.
Yeah, I know that he did, but interesting.
Just like you ravaged air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky nobody's ever seen my pub games. Jesus.
Yep.
People that say horrible things.
People say horrible things regardless, I guess.
People say horrible things. People are mean.
Dire's middle
Seriously.
tower is
And
under
that is what the
attack.
internet's all about. But yeah, no, I mean, that was a good fight for RoX.KIS. All things considered, maybe not as good as it could have been, but hey, they got all their cores still left up.
They trying to go on solo again here? Cheshire Cat has scouted him out, but nobody else is in the area to help, and looks like they'll go on Yol instead.
Yeah.
Cheshire Cat, nice 4-staff
Nice
down.
disruption as well from Yul, making sure that he can't do anything. And actually, he's going to try to turn this around. The arrow will not hit. Marana has activated an invisibility, so she's hanging around there invisible. Looks like the support's back off, though. I call Cheshire Cat a support, but I know he's not really a support. He looks to be going for his Blink Dagger. Seemingly a little bit off, but nonetheless, we'll get there at some point. In the meantime, Scandal, I mean, he's got his Blink Dagger, but if you look at his items, you would not say he was solo mid.
No, definitely not. And that's just one of the problems with the PR have had now. If you look at the map control that they've lost almost all their outer towers, and we're only 23 minutes in. He hasn't just had anywhere to farm. That's the simple fact of things here. He's got okay levels, but to be honest, if he'd have been a support hero, he would have probably got a little bit less than this. Maybe he'd be level 8, level 9. He'd still have the Blink Dagger and the Arcane Boots, though. He'd still have pretty much everything he needs as a Sand King, so I kind of feel like this was a little bit wasted. The level 2 Epicenter has made a big difference for them, though, and that's the real game changer. They need to hit basically all their spells perfectly. Every fight we've seen where they've managed to get Fiend's Grip off on the right person, where they've managed to doom the Dragon Knight and then got the Epi off, things have gone great. If they don't execute it completely perfectly, though, they just get stomped on these fights. And the nice thing is that Doom, he's got a BKB, he's very tanky, so even if they don't do things completely perfect, Moon just runs around eating up supports, but that's really not enough, because even if that happens, Solo will eventually kill him off. It'll take a while, because Doom's not an easy kill, and neither of these two actually do very much right-click damage. DK and Doom, not exactly known for it.
There's,
man,
there's support on the high ground and the sentry as well, so he stood next to the rune, hoping for his teammates to come and get it, so he protected it. And then comes a hookshot on an arrow, because, you know, there's no way of getting out of that one. Ouch.
But yeah, if they don't execute this absolutely perfectly, Moon, he'll kill off a couple of supports, but he'll die eventually, and so will the rest of PR. And they need to execute this perfectly and push from this. Scandal, though.
Burrow Strike Epicenter coming in. BZZ is going to be forced to leap away. Moonlight Shadow going off as well, but it doesn't matter that much, or at least they want to fight anyway, so why be invisible? They do have the Doom already down, and we're looking for more. Burrow Strike still hits upon Solo. FNG doesn't have his Fiend's Grip anymore, and his Brain Sap can't get it off. Too many interruptions. J4 trying to fly away, but I don't think it's gonna matter all that much. I think that will be a Dragonite catching up with this prey, or is it actually? Leap forward now, they get him. I think he misclicked. They still get him though, and they are gonna get Scandal as well. With only Cheshire Cat left alive for this fight, they will definitely lose this tier 2 tower. And actually, this is the same scenario as the previous fight, meaning that 4 heroes minus Cheshire Cat are dead on the side of Power Rangers. And it was only the 2 supports that died on the side of RoX.KIS. And, I mean, again, no Doom this fight, because Doom teleported into the tier 2, very greedy of him. But then you've got 2 heroes that have basically a disable that can follow up on a teleport. So Split Earth as well as Arrow followed on Doom the moment that he teleported in. And he didn't have a chance, because Dragon Tail followed after that, and he just died without being able to actually lift a finger in that entire fight.
Yeah, that was definitely the real problem for PR as well, because he had buyback, and I was thinking about it. I didn't check whether he TP'd in or not, because I was thinking if he had TP up, if he had TP cooldown, he could have bought back, TP'd back in, doomed the DK anyway, and they would probably have won that fight, because at that point DK does way less. They'd already wiped out most of the supports of RoX.KIS, and I think it would have been well worth it to buy back if he could have got there, but with his TP on cooldown, there's nothing he can do. They basically just have to leave Solo to get him, to kill everybody off there. And yeah, I thought Solo clicked originally, but actually he was just moving out of the way for the Clockwork, because you can never be too careful with the Clockwork hookshot, because the hitbox on it is, it's a little bit funky. It's hard to exactly judge whether you have the gap or not sometimes. So yeah, he just did it for that reason. Cheshire Cat just misclicked his TP up the top lane, but ultimately, every single fight where they don't lock down this DK, he just runs around killing everybody. Have you seen the item he's gone for now? He knows he has enough damage. He's got a goddamn Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah.
He can just kill everybody. How do they stop him now?
He
they have
is
to get
the
rid of
main
that.
target for Fiend's Grip and for Doom. And
They have to put both on him or something. This
Yep.
is crazy. They'll have to try and... If the Doom can get off a level death, because that's an easy way of dealing with Lincolns versus Doom, then they'll be able to still deal with him.
Arcane
but...
Bolt as well. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Arcane Bolt's probably the best one, actually.
Oh,
And
that's
they
a
tried to
BKB
go
turned
from
on.
here.
They don't get the Fiend's Grip off though. This already interrupted. Mystic Flare doesn't do anything either. Nice Burrow Strike Epicenter hits upon 2, but Scandal dies before the supports do. Now FNG will go down as well. The rest is trying to teleport out. J4 is not gonna make it out. GG, well played, is cold. Power Rangers, they tap out. I don't blame them for it. RoX.KIS looks strong, and Power Rangers, their lineup, we talked about it.
Victory.
Supposedly was strong early game, but they couldn't get enough advantage out of their lanes, and therefore will not be able to get this game going their way, which could have massive repercussions, because maybe Power Rangers is now not going to make it to the top 4. Top 4 goes to Moscow for the LAN finals. And right now, Power Rangers' faith is, well, they have to win their remaining games, and they have to actually hope that some of the other teams will not win all their games. So, tricky part for them is yet to come. We're going to see RoX.KIS again. This time up against Aware. But, any last words about this match?
Yeah, again, I think the reason they tapped out there is that they had to get those team fights perfect, and they had to do it over and over again, because every time they lost the fight, they just lost a tower or something. Every time they won the fight, they got like an inch of extra room there, and that was the real issue with their lineup, is they didn't have much in the way to push afterwards. RoX.KIS, on the other hand, they have a DK, they have a Leshrac who's got plenty of levels as well. I think he got some more in Edict eventually. Ultimately, that DK was just too big for them. They didn't have any sustained damage output, and once you've got a BKB, a Lincoln's, and a crit, who's going to stop him at that point? He can just walk forward and just sort of push them out of the way, and that's exactly what happened. We saw the Sand King get in at the end there. He got a great epi off. Just ignore it. No big deal. Just ignore an epicenter. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I guess I should say that a Midas is good, but personally, not my favorite item. Glad for RoX.KIS that, of course, it worked out. We're gonna see if they can make it happen again. Their next opponent, Aware, is maybe a little bit less challenging than Power Rangers in terms of on paper, how they look. However, that could be the one thing that Aware can have over RoX.KIS. Element of surprise. Let's take a look at Game 2 of the day. Game 2 of 4, that is. We're going to see RoX.KIS versus Aware next. Then we're going to see RoX.KIS versus NextKZ. And last, but definitely not least, it is Empire taking on Meteor Makers, which is looking to be the battle of the top 2 in the standings. So that's an important match as well. But stick around, we'll be back, and actually next match is scheduled in about 15 minutes time. We are slightly ahead of schedule because this game wasn't that long, but stay tuned. We'll be back with the second game of the night. Don't go anywhere.